All right, everybody, we are live with the Combatcast, guaranteed Randy Osgood's favorite TV show about MMA, radio show. What are we? I guess, I don't know, YouTube.
Broadcast.
Thank you. And we're going to talk some fights today. Before we do anything, here's a video. Are you a fan of pro wrestling, comedy, and combat sports? Then we have the podcast for you because we cover that and much, much more.
Do you like to debate with your friends? Do we have the perfect segment for you? It's the 5-3-1, where we take any given subject, break it down to a top 5. From there, we debate it down to 3, and then into that number 1 spot.
If you want to get a hold of us, find us on our social medias. Search Working Fans Podcast on any major social media platform. And if you want to find the podcast, search for us on any major podcast platform, as well as YouTube.
Working Fans Podcast. We put in the work so you don't have to.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're going to talk about some fights last week and this week. But Chevy, what do we got coming up beyond that?
All right, July 23rd, UFC Fight Night, Blades versus Aspinall. That's a 3 p.m. Eastern card. We got 2 early cards in a row, which is thank you, Uncle Dana. July 30th, we got UFC 277. That's Pena versus Nunes 2.
Yes.
For the bantamweight title. And then August 6th, we got UFC Fight Night, Santos versus Hill. And you never know, maybe we'll talk a little bit about Jake Paul's stupid fight he's got to.
Absolutely. The Paul brothers all around making noise. Let's see. We got someone in the comments here. Who is it? It's Producer Joe. What's up, guys? Hi, Producer Joe.
Hey, Producer Joe.
Joe. Joe, yeah, you know what Joey told me today? I'll put Joey on the spot a little bit. What the fuck? Why not? He'll get a kick out of it. He texted me a week ago because Joe is kind of getting into MMA a little bit, but he's not totally focused on things. So, like, you know, he might not remember whose nickname is who. You know, like he'll watch a fight. You kind of remember what that was like, Chevy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Joe texts me and he goes, "I thought Stylebender was a white dude." Nope, quite the opposite.
Nope, that's not him. No.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. But listen, man, he's talking some sense. Drop some stars in here. You know, let us know you like us and take a little royalties. All right, let's start off with last week's fight card. We had Fiziev versus Dos Anjos. Kicking off the main card was Jamie Mullarkey, Michael Johnson. Mullarkey with a split decision. What do you got?
Yeah, fantastic fight. Very back and forth. I think ultimately the fight came down to the first round where both guys actually got rocked in the first round. And I think that Mullarkey was given that round just because he finished the round with Johnson hurt as opposed to being the first one to get hurt. So super great fight. Michael Johnson was very upset with the judges' scorecard when they saw it was a split decision. He was saying, "Don't fuck me, don't fuck me." And then in his eyes, he got fucked anyway. So I kind of thought that Johnson should have won overall, but it was so close. I mean, you can't really complain too much.
Absolutely. And we're going to keep rolling here through these fights. Zahabi, I'm not even going to say his first name, versus Ricky Torricos. He had a unanimous decision win. What do you remember about this fight?
It was a terrible fight. Torricos, I don't remember how you pronounce his name, but he was like doing all this kung fu yelling and stomping and clapping and stuff in the ring, but he wasn't actually landing any punches. I think he had one of the lowest significant strike landed percentages of all time in the UFC. He could not touch his opponent. So I'm not sure where he goes from here. It was kind of an embarrassing performance for him, but terrible fight.
Well, then we went on to heavyweight action. Chase Sherman picking up a performance bonus as he TKO'd Gerald Vendera.
Yeah, Vendera.
So Chase Sermon with a TKO win. Got a performance bonus. How did you see this one?
Yeah, well, when we were doing the preview for this, I said it was going to be a boring 3-round decision. Well, I was super, super wrong. This fight was back and forth the entire time. Very impressive win for Sherman because he was rocked in the fight multiple times. So good on him. I know he had a few losses in a row. And so this could be saving his job in the UFC for now.
Good for him. And then Said Nurmagomedov.
Saeed, I believe his name is.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. Nurmagomedov gets the unanimous decision win. How did you see this?
Oh, yeah, it was, typical Saeed fight. Although the only concerning thing is he was starting to look pretty tired when come round 3. So hopefully he can get that sorted out because once he starts fighting these ranked opponents, he can't be getting tired in round 3. He'll be getting trounced. So especially he's got things to work on for sure, but he got the win.
Yeah, bantamweight division too. Yeah, no room kind of holes.
Yep, gotta have cardio for days.
And this fight, I think you told me you fell asleep in Cario.
I did fall asleep during this card.
He did fight. Win. So we'll just co-main event was not very impressive for Chevy. Cario Bahara gets the win. But main event, I'm guessing you must at least saw highlights of this. Rafael Fiziev versus RDA. It was a KO punch, and it was in round 5.
Yeah.
18 seconds left. He got a performance bonus for this.
Yeah, this was a good fight. I'm super impressed with Fiziev's takedown defense. I know he had a 95 or something like that, 95% takedown defense, but he's been fighting kickboxers and the likes of, Brad Riddell and stuff like that. Not a legend in Dos Anjos. So the fact that I think he only got taken out like 1 or 2 times the whole fight, and he managed to get back up, says a lot about where he's going to be going from here. So great win for him for sure to retain the power. I know some people are upset with the stoppage, but you could tell when Dos Anjos got clipped on the way down, his eyes were, gone. He had no focus. He was definitely out. So I thought it was a good stoppage. As far as going forward for Fiziev, while he has great takedown defense, I think he's in trouble against people like Islam Makhachev or, obviously Oliveira, the most prolific submission artist in UFC history, or even like a Dariush, who could possibly be his next opponent. Dariush is very well-rounded, and he is an amazing black belt if he can get that fight to the ground. So I don't even know if he needs to get it to the ground. He could get on Fiziev's back standing, and I think he'd be in big trouble. So I think that's what he needs to work on. BJJ, all his stand-up is absolutely phenomenal. Takedown defense is phenomenal. So that's what he's got to work on.
Yeah. And like it's just such a loaded division. So there's always room for improvement in that division. Because guys that are so good just keep getting better at everything too. I mean, Charles Oliveira was like, at one point in his career, was like a featherweight that was like in the middle of the pack.
He was like 10-10 or something like that.
Yeah, it's just one of the all-time greats, Hall of Fame career, lightweight champ. It's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to Ortega versus Rodriguez. Before we get to the main card, there's some prelim fights I think you'd like to highlight.
Yeah, just a couple fights to keep an eye out for. The whole prelim card is pretty good. It's just relatively unknown fighters, but good matchup. So Bill Algeo is fighting Gilbert Burns' younger brother, Herbert Burns. That's a good matchup. Ricky Simone and Jack Shore could be the best fight on the prelims matchup wise. Ricky Simone has great wrestling. Jack Shore, I think, is undefeated. Just great all-around fighter. So shout out to those guys. And then headlining the prelims is Punahele Soriano, and I'm going to butcher this guy's name, but Dalcha Lungbula.
Yeah.
But two, knockout heavy fighters. So I think you're going to see a war in that one. And I bet that's what the UFC is going for, with this being the main event of the prelims on ABC.
ABC again, too. All right.
Yeah.
That's great for them. Great for these fighters to get that platform, being on ESPN and ABC both. All right, kicking off this main card, a fight we talked about in the past already because we had recorded early and the fight ended up getting canceled off the last pay-per-view. But Lauren Murphy versus Miesha Tate. I'm not going to go through these records again for these girls just because we've done it. But I'm going to pick Tate here. I think the exciting thing here about this is, first off, no disrespect to Lauren Murphy, this is a great opponent for her, and we're going to find out where Tate actually is in this flyweight weight class to start off, because Murphy's a former Invicta bantamweight champion. She's got a lot more experience at this weight class. But, Tate, former Strikeforce bantamweight champion, former UFC bantamweight champion. She does nothing half-ass. She's going all in, and she's really the story of this fight, is to kind of see how Tate's going to perform here. I hope she does well. I'm going to pick Tate, but I'll pick it by decision for her first time out.
Yeah, just a reminder, this main event, or this main card, will be starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. So shout out to the UFC for giving us another early card. So we love that.
Yes.
As far as Lauren Murphy and Miesha Tate, yeah, we talked about this. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going with Miesha Tate. She's taking her weight cut down to 125 serious. She did it the right way. And I think the fact that Lauren Murphy is now recovering from COVID, because that's why the fight initially was postponed, that's not going to do her any favors in the cardio or anything like that, strength areas. So I think that just sways it even more towards Miesha Tate, and I'm excited to see where she's at in this division for sure.
All right. Shane Burgos versus Charles Jourdain. Jourdain is 13-4-1. He's got 8 KOs, 4 subs, only 1 decision for this guy. Fight of the night one time, a victory over the Korean Superboy Doo-Ho Choi, which was a round knockout. Then you got Shane Burgos, who's 14-3, 5 KOs, 5 subs, 4 decisions, and he's had for the night four times. Charles Rosa, Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett, Edson Barboza. I'm going to say Shane's has a little bit of the edge in overall stiff competition. This looks like it's going to be a barn burner, fireworks. I'm going to go Burgos, but man, this could go either way. I think it's going to be a finish for one of these guys. I'll go Burgos, round 2 TKO.
Yeah, I agree. I think if the main event wasn't the main event, I would think this would be fight of the night. But I don't think there'll be a finish. I think both guys are super tough. Both are, relatively equal in all aspects of MMA. So I think you're going to see a war that goes to a decision. But I just think, as you said, Burgos has the better strength of schedule. I think that experience is going to help him get the win.
Absolutely. All right, this next one, I might need help with the name. Sue
Majiri, I think. Majiri,
16-4, 13 KOs, 1 subs, 2 decision against Matt Snell, who's 15-6-1, 2 KOs, 8 subs, 4 decisions, 1 disqualification victory too. Matt, his performance of the night, 1 time, fight of the night 1 time from the Legacy Fighting Championship. Majiri has a performance of the night once as well. Again, kind of strict schedule thing. I'm gonna go with Snell. I'll go with decision.
Well, I think this really comes down to if Matt can get a hold of Sue. I think if he does, he's going to sub him, but he's going to have to do it early. If he doesn't get his hands on him, get him down and sub him early, I think he's going to get knocked out, which I think is probably the better bet. I think he gets knocked out in round 2 or 3.
All right, everyone is distracted. My allergies are killing me.
Yeah.
I got a bad neck, but we're gonna keep going on. So,
and it's hot. And it's hot.
We got Jingalang here. Lee Jingalang. He is 18-7, 9 KOs, 4 subs, 5 decisions. This guy's had 2 fight of the nights. He's had 4 performance of the nights. He always brings it. He's taking on, let's see if we get this name right, Muslim Sakharov.
Salkiyov.
All right, 18-2, 12 KOs, 2 subs, 4 decisions. He's had a performance tonight too. This actually looks like a banger too.
Good matchup, yeah.
Yeah, I like Lee. I'm always a little partial to him. I'll go with my heart. I'll say he gets it done round 3 TKO.
Yeah, I also like Lee. I think that he has a point to prove because his last fight out, I think it was his last fight. He might have one since, but he came out and he got subbed very early on, big brothered by Hazmat. So
Yep.
I think he's got a point to prove. But I think he has the power advantage, but I do think that Muslim is a more technical fighter. I think he's going to clip Lee because Lee likes to be in a brawl. I think he gets clipped and gets finished by Muslim. I'm going to say round 3.
All right, and then we got.
I hope not, though.
Yeah, me too. Lovely. We got interesting fight next to the Karate Hottie, Michelle Watterson, 18-9, 3 KOs, 9 subs, 6 decisions. Performance of the night, fight of the night. Former atomweight championship in Invicta. I bring that up because sometimes she is a little outsized. Like there is no atomweight class in the UFC.
That's 105 pounds. So
yeah,
that's not in the UFC.
She's taking on Amanda Lemos, who's 11-2-1, 7 KOs, 2 subs, 2 decisions. She's had fight of the night one time, a split decision victory over Andrew Hill. Her last fight was she was submitted early by Jessica Andrade. So, like you said in the last fight, I think she's
standing arm triangle. I think too.
Yeah,
that was that fight.
I think she's got a point to prove here, and I think Michelle Watterson, as much as I love her, I think she's on the backside of her career right now. I like Lemos here. I'm going to even say a sub. I'm going to say round 2.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do think Michelle is, past her peak at this point. I don't think she's done by any means, but she's past her peak. She's undersized for sure. This is a bad matchup for her with Lemos's power. I just think that Watterson's going to have a hard time getting Lemos to respect her power. I don't think Michelle's really going to be able to hurt her, and Lemos is going to walk through whatever she throws early and probably hurt Michelle and KO her. I'm going to say round 2 KO Lemos, but I hope I'm wrong with that one also.
All right, we will see. Yeah, that's definitely a fight that I don't know. I feel bad because I do love Michelle Watson. I feel bad saying that she's on the back, but I just don't know. Her last couple performances, I don't know. I just feel like she's not.
I think the sport is just evolving past what her skill set currently is. She has great stand up and everything, but I mean, I just think the weight cutting of these bigger girls down to her size, she's just outsized really, doesn't have the technical skill to empower really to make up that gap.
And then our main event, if these two are like basketball teams, they'd be some of the most exciting teams in the sport. Mm-hmm. Ortega's a guy in his first couple UFC fights, he would always fight from behind and then eventually get a choke out. I want to say his first 3 fights were that way. Like he was down on all judges' scorecards and he ended up getting submissions. Rodriguez has got one of the craziest finishes of all time. A fight he was losing to the Korean Zombie. He finishes him with a back upwards elbow with like 1 second left in the 5th round of the main event. So getting to their records, Ortega's 15-2-1, 3 subs, 3 KOs, 7 subs, 5 decisions. Fight of the night 5 times, performance of the night twice. He's coming off that loss to Alexander Volkanovski. He sounds like a guy with a good mindset too. Like when he talks about that fight, like I'm expecting a better version of Ortega here. Rodriguez, 13-3-1, 4 KOs, 3 subs, 6 decisions. He was the Latin American winner on The Ultimate Fighter. Fight of the night 5 times. Yeah, I mean, again, a guy who constantly improves. The one thing about him, he doesn't always seem as active, but he always seems like he's doing a lot in between there because he always comes back a much better fighter. I'm not going to be surprised, again, if we see a completely different Yair and he's somebody that can pull this off. That being said, based on their past performances, I feel Ortega's just that guy who's just right below Holloway and Volkanovski, and then it's Yair. So I got Ortega. I think for a while be on the feet, and that's going to be back and forth, where Yair might even get the better for a while. But at some point, this is going to the ground, or Ortega's just going to get his hands on him, and he's going to submit him. Yair's tough. I think it'll be a while. I'm going to go round 4, guillotine choke.
So I think this fight is going to be a war. I think this is going to end up being Ortega shows, he's too tough for his own good. It's going to let his ego get the best of him and try to stand up with Yair. Because I believe if he got a hold of him, just worked for takedowns, took him down, he is the much better. Yair is slippery on the ground. He has long limbs and everything, but Ortega has some of the best jiu-jitsu in MMA, period. So if he was to do that, I think, that's his path to victory, easiest path to victory. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to stand up with Yair and do okay, but the distance management for Yair, his creativity on the feet, I think he just ends up piecing up Ortega a little bit, maybe doesn't hurt him, but pieces him up a little bit, outpoints him, and just wins a decision. But I think it's going to be a war. I like both guys, but I'm rooting for Brian in this one. I would like to see him, achieve his potential and do the easiest path to victory, get a takedown and submit. So, he's the far superior grappler.
It's interesting. We're both thinking the same thing, though, that he is going to try to strike on him at least. See, I think he eventually does smarten up at this fight, though, at some point and goes and gets what he wants. You see it being maybe a little too late, and you see Yair with the victory. And we're both admitting, though, because these guys are constantly improving, too, we're not sure what versions we're going to see by the time these fights get in. We don't say that about everybody, but there's a few fighters, too. It's like, especially this weight class, too. Volkanovski, Holloway, Yair, and Ortega. We both thought Holloway was going to win the last fight against Volkanovski. And I think we based that off the first 2 fights, which even though we're very close, we thought Holloway was edge, and we know they're both improving. But by the time that fight showed up, Volkanovski was a completely different fucking fighter. Mm-hmm. And I feel that way with these two, too. I think this is the greatest division. I don't want to say the greatest division in the UFC, but it's right up there with it. I think it's bantamweight, featherweight, and lightweight in no particular order, but just those 3 weight classes, 135, 145, and 155 are outstanding. But yeah, this should be an amazing, amazing fight. Like you already said, and I said, I'm super excited for this, and this could be potentially one of the fight of the years, or like you said, maybe Ortega takes a smart path to victory and gets it done early. Either way, excited to see this. Why don't we tell them one more time what we got coming up?
All right. So this, again, 2 p.m. Eastern card this weekend. So thanks again, UFC. We just got to show some appreciation, because we really like those ones. Next week, July 23rd, UFC Fight Night, Blades versus Aspinall. Another early card, 3 p.m. Yep. That's from London. That whole card is going to be phenomenal. We're looking forward to that one. End of the month, July 30th, we're going to be previewing UFC Fight Night 277, Pena versus Nunes 2 for the bantamweight title. And then August 6th, previewing UFC Fight Night Santos versus Hill. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about Jake Paul and Hasim Rahman Jr. We'll see.
So it goes down. All right, guys. That's for the Combatcast this week. I'm limping out of here with everything going on, but we always appreciate your support. And we'll be back next week talking more combat action. Thank you, guys.